Hello, I'm Ashley Howard from Scissorhands UK, and this is Charlotte Boyle. She's head of our artistic team. And we thought we'd take a couple of minutes just to go through some of the everyday questions that we get from our clients, like yourself, salon owners, stylists, hairdressers, with the subject of how do I choose the right scissor? Something we get asked quite a lot, isn't it?
All the time.
Yeah. And as you can see, there are lots and lots of different scissors to choose from, but there are really only 2 or 3 key things that you need to get right. I mean, we had a chat, didn't we, about which blade length.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that on most people's mind is how long to go for and what the difference is with a longer blade and a shorter blade.
Yeah. A lot of clients now still use a short blade, and the reason we don't encourage short blades so much is, and if I grab a short blade now just to show you, if you're a stylist that uses something about this size, what we often see this, don't we, where when a hairdresser's working, what they'll do is when they're cutting the hair, they'll often do 1 cut, 2 and 3, and it's that 2nd and 3rd cut which often means they might cut themselves. So what we recommend is that if they can step up to something, I know this is the size that you use, but something this length, if you look very, very simply, if you place the pivot of the scissor over your fingernails and actually rest it there, when you cut, it's almost impossible to cut yourself, and you cut that section in 1 go, not 3, and that kind of follows through when you're doing a bob baseline and you want to cut that nice clean line. Doing it in 4 or 5 goes,
yeah, there's less chance of you getting a straight line
if you use a small scissor.
Yeah.
With this, it's going to be quicker, cleaner and safer.
Yeah.
Second thing, that they ask us about, like ergonomics and comfort, don't they? So what I've brought along is I've brought a traditional design scissor. This is not one of ours, but this is something we see a lot of, don't we? I think, did you start your career with something like this?
Yeah, very similar.
Yeah. It's a short blade. You'll notice that the handles are the same length. And what that means is when the stylist holds the scissor, they automatically have to tuck the thumb under there.
It's not natural, is it, the way that it sits?
No. And it's sometimes quite uncomfortable. And you'll see hairdressers with their elbow up in the air working like this, but if no one's told them, they're still doing that. So everything we make is slightly offset, which means that the thumb's a little bit forward. Very simply, if you put the 2 together, you'll see the angle difference there. So that means if you're a point cutter, okay, and a lot of people point cut, if they use this traditional scissor, they're up here, but with an offset, it allows them a lower.
Yeah, and as hairdressers, we've all got back and shoulder issues anyway, so just having that more relaxed stance is going to be a lot better for us in the long run. It
is, yeah. And I think it's all about long-term being comfortable and reducing, wear and tear on yourself. The other thing we get asked a lot, the difference between the 2.
That is the main question when we're working away at shows, is when do we choose to use each of these scissors? Because for most people they just look very similar.
They do. And they'll come up to us and they'll say, is that a thinning scissor?
Yeah.
And you're like, no. But the Evo, for instance, very simple explanation is the reason we designed that is what the clients ask for when they come in the salon.
They want volume and they want lift.
They want it easy.
Yeah.
And so on. That is the scissor for giving you the volume, giving you the layers, giving you the texture that you want from the haircut. That's the Evo. It's got 15 gaps, very easy to recognise. And then the soft cut, again, people say that's a thinning scissor. So what I've done, I brought along a traditional thinning scissor, just as a quick visual demonstration of the difference. If you look at the traditional one, it has the solid blade on the bottom, whereas we have our gaps at the bottom. So when you cut, all the hair rests on this bottom blade. So when the scissor closes, like a guillotine, it cuts straight through it, and that's where you sometimes get those little kind of white marks in the hair.
Yeah, one of the things I was going to say about the difference between the 2 is that this takes a lot more hair away. So you can go a bit deeper with your layering scissor, and that's more for blending out the edges of a haircut.
So you can go in deeper with this. That's a really good point. You have to go in deeper to get that volume and lift that you want.
But I wouldn't do that with the soft bone because it would take too much hair away.
Absolutely. It's like using the right tool for the job. So I specifically designed that to take more hair away, but very, very soft finish.
Yeah.
And a lot of clients, especially barbers, male grooming salons, they'll use this both instead of a clipper, or to merge the short section into the longer section.
For fades and stuff. For men's hair, the soft is amazing.
Yeah. So if you've got, whatever your preference is, if you have the right solid blade for all your solid blunt lines, you have your Evo blade for all volume, like say easy blow dry and so on, then you've got your soft cut, fading, taking the bulk out.
Blending.
What you've got is you've got an effective way to do any haircut, really. Yeah. I think that's a simple thing. And so when you're looking for a scissor, look for something that's ergonomic, that's got a handle that allows you to keep your elbow low, make sure you've got the right blade length, and then look at your Evo and soft cut to complete your collection.